Are you ready to become awesomer? Hello everyone, this is Umar Hamid, your host, and welcome to the No Limit Selling Podcast, where industry leaders share their tips, strategies, and advice on how to make you better, stronger, faster. Get ready for another episode. Today I'm privileged to have Creig Northrop here. He has been the number one realtor in the country 3 times. Creig, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Pleasure.
So Creig, take us back to when you started in real estate. What craziness made you want to join real estate? And tell me what that was like before you figured out which way was up.
Well, you know, it's interesting. So in college, I always had a passion for movies first. Mm-hmm. So really how the tie was is in college. And I'm a big Terp fan, by the way. But I was in the University of Maryland, and I started a job doing video stores. So really got.
I used to do that too, actually. Yeah.
I got to be a manager rather quickly because it's about knowing people and I call it mirroring people or kind of being able to adapt to each personality.
Yes.
And as a manager and as a growing of an entrepreneur, you got to get better at that. A lot of patience, but it's called adaptability. So adaptability was one of the things I was able to get early in life, and of course with the business background of being an employee, I said if you're going to do it anyway, why not be the best? So within 6 months, I became a manager of that video store. So you should also do what you're passionate about. I love movies, so it kind of worked for me. So that was what I was doing through college. So the reason I even bring that in is ultimately ended up owning a video store. So we got that, and I learned. And my philosophy of a video store was this: I had a bell on the door.
Yes.
So every minute I want that bell to ring.
Yes.
So that meant that I had customers, and so I would create free coupons or whatever it took to get people to ring my door.
Keep the bell ringing.
Right, and that philosophy I've always rang true. Same in branding. Branding's the same way. It's the same bell. It's just branding now, right?
So let me pause you there, take you back. So that kind of mindset of being of service, connecting with people, the work ethic. Yes. Where did you get that from?
Where do you get that from? I mean, some of it is by mentors. I see some of my mentors do it. My mom was a very hardworking. Mm-hmm. She was one of them. My owner of the video store he taught me a lot of the business rather quickly, so he was one of them. So really, the people around you, gather information, especially people that you think you may want to strive to be like, and I think learn from them. So one of my best advices when you're young: learn as much as possible. Be that sponge. Go after people that are doing it the way you'd like to do it, and learn how they're doing it, and then therefore try to incorporate what they're doing.
That's brilliant. So tell me, when you stepped into real estate, what was that like, and how long did it take for you to kind of figure out how to make the bell ring?
So that's a great point. So really, when we got this video store, I'm owning it, $2.50 videos, decided.
Was there a membership back then? We used to charge $100 to join the club.
It's funny. I always believed in free memberships because I wanted more clients, and my opportunity was getting them in the doors, and then they would buy other things. So that was the philosophy. But with that, the thoughts were I could sell $2.50 videos or $250,000 houses. So really the decision was my mother was already doing the business. So I decided I'll keep the business as an entrepreneur, but I'm going to go in and do real estate. So in real estate, I just helped my mother. I learned. It's knowledge is confidence, confidence is trust, trust is sale. I knew every house of every street of every location. I was going to be, my most mission was when I finally got them buyer calls or whatever, I knew every street, so I could guide that client wherever they needed to go.
So really get that mastery. Put in the time to get the mastery.
Learn it first. Don't have to jump head first and just think you're, doing it. I think it's better to learn it, really, be comfortable, create confidence, and then you'll build trust in others. So I thought doing that was sort of how I got into real estate, with my mother being an assistant. Then ultimately decided to, let's take it to the next level. My wife and I decided to do it on our own. We opened the Creig Northrop team. So
nice.
we did that, and we decided to be a team because we saw a team was going to be the future. Teams can do more.
And what year is this?
This is 2000.
2000.
On a park
so not
bench.
so long ago.
No, it wasn't. About 18 years ago. So and
you're good at math.
There you go. Thank you. You have to be in real estate really quick, right? So with that, so we decided that decision. We jump into the business. We get our first, administration person. We get our salesperson. We kind of start building a team. And honestly, it started with one, and now it's 145. So
145. Let me just go back to the original two.
Yes.
So what were the skill sets that your wife had that you were missing and vice versa? Was there that joining of skill sets?
Yes, and that's a great question. So my wife always brought the compassion, the togetherness, the learning people and always treating everybody equally, right? And that's very
important.
Yes, it is, because that's as important as the sales side, which I brought the IBM approach to real estate, where each person had a division of, we had a staging department, we had a client care department, we had a marketing department, we have an IT department, and we had the sales department. So we made it a business. So I brought business background. My wife brought the compassion and the caring, and we both care, but ultimately together, the caring culture, and I'll call it the culture.
And that defined you differently than the other realtors in the market?
Well, real estate was just about wait for the phone to ring and answer it.
Right.
That was it. Now we created a business so that it was more of, we can handle more clients more often, just like you're their only client. So the thought process, in order to grow, we had to create it so that client never felt you were too busy for them.
Tell me about that kitchen table moment where you guys are thinking about, okay, this is what we want the customer experience to be like, and then having employees that you need to execute it. How do you translate what was in your heart into theirs?
Well, first of all, you got to believe it. It's got to be, you got to be very authentic in anything that you do. And what I mean by that is I love what I do because I enjoy it. I have a passion for it. It's a lifestyle for me and my wife. And so with that, energy is contagious, and vision is understood if it's in the right direction. So you lead by example, and we became player coaches. So I sold real estate, but yet still led, and so I could coach people throughout the way.
Right.
And so when you can build up, it's called reach one, teach one, right? So every time we reached a monument, we brought more people and taught them how to get there. So each time we kept building this foundation that any good house has to have that foundation in order to be successful and to hold its time.
So was that your concept, or did you borrow it from someone?
No, we didn't borrow. It was definitely our concept.
Nice.
There was no teams in real estate by right of bigger teams in real estate till we really came along.
Tell me about one of your charges, someone that you brought into the business that maybe didn't have such a smooth entry into the business.
Okay.
But you had to give them some guidance to kind of get that eureka moment. Do you have one of those stories?
Where they kind of got in and they
weren't finding their way, and then you coached them through that, and it was like a life-changing moment.
I think a lot of people get in with different expectations with sales. Mm-hmm. I want to make 6 figures, or I want to sell it all today and get instant return. That's not what sales is about. It's about showing the client care for the future. So what we found is that some people were either real sales driven and we have to back them off and show them the care given.
Yes.
Right? Or we have the care given that weren't sales given. Right? So we basically, what we did well, and we created now what's called Northrop University, which is Northrop U, that trains agents on, hey, if you're from the nursing or the teaching, which by the way make great agents, they
brilliant.
care a lot, right? But we have to teach them a little more of the sales side, right? But then you get I won't use them car salesmen, but let's just say the
insurance or whatever.
Insurance, let's use them. They need a little bit more of the care side. So what is amazing is we're able to establish which part of the piece of that person that needs to be kind of focused on, and we're going to work with you on it. And we care enough to make you better, because if you do better, the company ultimately does better, and then we all make, as a group, at that time as a team, we all got together, we trusted one another, and everyone wanted for our team goals to achieve it. Now in the brokerage, we want them just to excel in their own ways, and we're just here to help.
Brilliant. As companies get started, they have a very clear vision of what they want to accomplish,
yes,
and more importantly, a very powerful sense of who they are and what they stand for.
Right.
But as business speeds up and there's more moving parts, sometimes people lose sight of that. Yeah. How did you guys stay true to that original, this is who we are, this is what we stand for?
We always saw that we wanted to be the best, and what the best was is a rating system of being number one in the nation. So we were number two for many, many years. So, I told you advice about learning from others.
Yes.
So we flew around the country when we were number two to see number one. We went out to California, met Ruth Pugh. We went out to another California. We went down to Miami to meet other other teams that had beaten us and to learn how and what we could do better. We incorporated that in our business and kept making changes. We are only as good as we were, the next day. So meaning, your goal is, your competition is yourself.
Yes.
Period. Right? And if you're better than you were yesterday, you're in the right direction. And that's really what we were trying to understand and learn. Now, technology's changed. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have social media. We didn't have a lot of that. So you have to incorporate that as you go and get people that know that if you don't know it. So that's one of the keys.
So let's backtrack a little bit, because it sounds like the people that were at the top of the profession sounds like they had a level of generosity to allow you to come in. So is there a group of people that are just very collaborative to make the whole industry better?
I would say reach out to them and let them, most people at their levels should be, as we would be, open to always
talking. And it sounds like they were.
They were. No question they were. And I thanked them very much, and it was very rewarding for both of us, because I think we both gave each other something. I learned from everybody that talks to me every day. Like this interview, you learn and think about, wow, how was it when I first started? You don't sit down and do that naturally. You're focused on everything else. So these are the kind of things that each time that we do go through these experiences, or somebody talks to me or I go talk to them,
if you pay attention to what's going on, you got to pick up something useful.
Yes, listening, always listening.
How do you see the future for real estate, and how do you remain relevant in that future that's coming?
Well, you certainly, again, you needed to brand yourself, and we did that for a long time, okay? 85% of the market knows who we are, and that was a key. So first it was about making a mark being memorable, right? You can be memorable or forgotten, your choice, right? So the thought was to be memorable. Now it's
how do you... Pause right there. So how did you become memorable? Like, what did you do?
So one of the memories is, I do a lot of community give back, right? So I do a lot
philanthropic,
of Yes, right? I do a lot of that. And when I say that, it's the proverbial team, the team at that point. And also, we tied ourselves to University of Maryland, College Park. So we became a big advocate with them. So when people thought of the Terp, which is the Terp Turtle, they thought of the Northrop team, and hence I have it right in my pocket every day.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's, when people think of a larger institution, they always relate it to me, because they know that we are, and I am a big fan of the University of Maryland. I'm a supporter, and I went there. So it gave us a little bit more entity of a floor plan there. And of course, then I did TV, and they saw my face because I was on the signs. So it's kind of that recognizable, trusted brand that started.
Brilliant. So number one was be memorable. And then what?
And then what? And then, so then be memorable. Then, again, from a leader standpoint, lead by example, okay? You're only as good as the people that are around you. Build the people through culture with my wife, through selling, training for, the combination was fantastic. And then once you've got this great foundation, that's when you grow. See, the problem is everybody tries to grow so fast. And what happens is you make mistakes. And if the foundation is not strong enough, you have nothing to stand on. So I think it's so important to build that with great people before you really think you're going to be able to build the buildings.
So you've got 18 years of experience of doing this.
Yes. Well, I actually have 30 total, 18 of the team, yes.
Brilliant. So if you were mentoring a team, let's say somewhere in California, not in this market, and you sat down with a new person coming in, what would be the 3 pieces of advice you'd give them to help them build that foundation?
Right. So if they were just starting out, say they didn't have any employees yet, I tell them to get an administration person first. Kind of take care of the stuff that the team leader needs to free himself up to be able to work with the other staff people that are going to come on board, right? The salespeople. That's the first thing, right? Is to kind of, what's the first step? Second step is, then where do you grow? Do you grow into buyer's agents? Do you grow into seller's agents? Things like that. Get the staff in. And then where's your marketing? Where's the best places to kind of put yourself out there? How does branding work? The problem with most agents or in most businesses, we all try that one shot. And if that one-shot marketing doesn't work, we stop. Yeah. And so that's the consistency why people don't realize they ride a roller coaster. See, in our business, in our culture, we're trying to keep everybody consistent so that instead of doing 5 one month and 1 another month, we want 5 every month. Right. And if you can produce that really kind of keeps that stability around, and marketing does that as well. Marketing's the same way. You got to let the consumer know you're there always. You can't give up and back off the consumers. They will, it's peace of mind, it's first of mind, and you have to be best of mind.
Who are some of your agents that you can just see that this person is going to be a superstar, and they reach a plateau where they limit themselves. What do you do when you come to a situation like that?
Well, it's funny. One of the one goals is to get and use to pull out the unused potential. That is one of the most valuable, saddest assets that human people have. Humanistic value is because technology is real simple. It tells you something and it's done, right? That's why real estate will always be a human part, because we have so much potential and so much unused that we just don't do it every day. So how do you pull that out? Motivation, how do you find somebody different than the other? Everyone has potential. Everyone can do it. It's whether you want to do it. It's whether you have the desire to do it, and it's how you look at doing it. So if you don't want to do something or you want to resist it, you remember it's changing your mindset, and your mindset's the most powerful thing. It controls your whole body. Is how your mind is. Change your attitude. You change your words.
It can be an asset or a liability.
That's right. And so the passion and the power that your mind has, if you don't want to do it, it's not going to do it. I heard that they say that in the operating rooms, if you say you're going to die, they won't operate on you, because they believe the mind has so
much power that it's going to do that. Absolutely.
That's the same mindset. So if an agent has that much mindset that he can do it, the mindset's more powerful than the ability, and we can teach ability.
What I've found in my work very much is beliefs as self-fulfilling prophecies.
Right.
That as soon as we get that belief, then we're looking for data to validate it.
Right.
We can get counter examples that might be very useful that we totally ignore because it doesn't fulfill that belief. And if the belief is, I can do anything, you do it. And if the belief is only people that are chosen or university educations, then you're going to prove that right as well.
Yeah, they always say if if you're going to do it, if you know it, you're right. If you don't know it, you're right as well. And my mother's always said, if you can conceive it, you can believe it, you can achieve it. And I live with that. I mean, it's one of them things that you have to believe first in yourself. And the most powerful thing in sales is first to have confidence in yourself, but more important is putting confidence in you and others. And what I mean by that is if they're confident in you, that's the most powerful thing.
That brings up confidence.
No question. If you're confident you want to use me for whether it's services, that's that confidence. That's sales.
Yes.
It's not telling you what to do. It's showing you how to do it and getting you to buy in.
Become a believer.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
This is a big responsibility. You've got 100 and some odd people relying on you.
Yes.
At some point, I would suspect that you must have come to one of those forks in the road where you're like, am I the right guy? So tell me about one of those learning experiences where you had to actually coach yourself to be better.
Well, I think you always have to coach yourself to be better than yesterday, right? But more importantly, I think what I had to coach myself on was to keep myself in shape and always in tune to what's next. And so I joke about this, that I wanted to go back to be 30 again, right?
Yes.
You hit your 40s and you go, oh my God, I'm getting old. You hit the 50, oh my gosh, right? They're like over the hill. So I went to a clothes designer and I said, give me a 30-year-old suit. And I couldn't move my hands. They wear them tight, right? But the thought process is you have to learn. You never lose, you learn, and you learn every day. So there's a lesson and blessing in everything we do. And so what I've learned is, as I've grown, is if the weight gets too much, I step back, I master it, and I come up stronger. And I think that's, and the weight doesn't have to be that far off. So, I think all of us go, if I fail, I go all the way back and I reset. No, you just step back. You don't reset.
Yes.
And I think that's part of the problem when you get into owning businesses and everything. You think you're a failure because you missed one opportunity. Well, there's a reason you missed that opportunity. Find out why, understand why, and make yourself better on the next one. And that's really one of the things that not only do I believe in, but I coach in. And I'm very passionate that we should embrace failure. We should embrace the no, love the no, thank the no, because the no means there's another opportunity waiting. And sometimes we don't understand that, and that's hard because we are rejection driven in the sense that in sales we think the client is going to say one thing, and they end up do sometimes because we've created it. And so, or we don't even make the call because we think they're going
to say no.
That's right. So we've got to, that's that mechanism that we try to get out of the agent's minds.
So one of the things that I'm picking up, you have a belief that this is going to work out well, And that gives you the privilege to be that scientist and experiment and go. But that level of certainty is what leads to your success.
Fear, false evidence appearing real,
Yes.
right? So as leaders, you got to guide. You just got to go. You're going to, a decision period. A decision is one of them things where when you make a decision, you could be right or wrong, but you know what? You made the decision and you move forward. And as leaders, you have to make decisions every day, and you have to take your whole team in consideration of that. But when you make that decision, it is what it is, right? You can't regret it. You can't change it. You can't blame, complain, things like that. You just got to go move forward. And people respect you for that, because what they are looking for is somebody to get around, to kind of rally around, to kind of get us to the next level. What's going to get you to the next level? Who's going to bring me there? Who's going to help me there? And that's the most powerful thing, that why leaders are leaders, because they do what they say they're going to do. They show up. They never give up, and they have a purpose or a direction, and you want to be on that ship. You want to be on that direction because it's the direction that feels good, is right, and they're going the way you would benefit you in your life.
Brilliant. So, Creig, just before we part company, a couple of quick questions. Number one, what's your biggest fear right now? You're going the right direction, you're successful, you got a track record. Are there any things that you are wary of?
Wary of? I mean, ultimately, whenever you grow, you're always weary. The economy can always do something change, and that's fine. In a recession, we actually were number one in the nation through the recession. So our business standards went up, which is great because we already hold from a higher level of standards. But just like anything else, we don't control it, though. The interest rates could go up, stock markets could change. These are things that don't control you, but make you look responsible.
Yes.
So that's hard, and so a fear factor is an outside source that I can't control, could make what we do look like it's our responsibility.
Brilliant. And is there a particular book you'd recommend that the listeners read?
The book that I would there's Goals by Brian Tracy, who I think is dynamite. Goals without deadlines or no goals at all. Everyone should have a goal, period.
Yes.
I think that's probably a very powerful one. The other one I'm very, very much about is called Miracle Morning. I believe in that book a lot. And it's by Hal Elrod, and it's about getting up an extra hour early. I think the culture, the things, everything's starting earlier, and I think you can get a lot more done. They say prospect in the morning and solve problems in the afternoon. And as a business person, I get more done in the morning than I'll ever get during the day. And that hour, 2 hours there, how you start your day, if you win the morning, you win the day. Take that half hour of just your time. Take your time.
Brilliant.
Enjoy your time, and be ready for the day, because that's your time to kind of prepare in your own space.
Creig, thanks so much for sitting down with me. I learned a lot and really enjoyed it.
Thank you. It was a true pleasure. Have a great day.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating. And if you're looking for more tools, go to my website at nolimitselling.com. I've got a free mind training course there that's going to teach you some insights from the world of neuro-linguistic programming, and that is the fastest way to get better results.